Massey was really making the lineup look a lot better.
I think he is too. But I might think of, sliding him at 2. I don't care if you put Witt or Salvi interchangeably, whatever.
Bobby Witt is 2.
But I know that you want him at 2 because that's the best spot where you want your best hitter now. But if their lineup is just going to stink from 4 down,
which it has from like 6 down most of the year, and they're 12 games over 500.
Right, but I don't.
Do you think the fix-it is like not getting Bobby Witt as many at bats?
Yeah, maybe.
Oh,
maybe.
I can't help
because I can't. I really don't think they're going to be able to continue to score those type of runs unless they get improvement, which I think is
I
think Hunter Renfroe.
That is the worst statement you've ever made.
The only thought I could see with that
was
that
show.
Is it if
and you've made some doozies.
Is it if he's 4?
I said perhaps they should consider it if these guys don't hit. Now I think that Hunter
Where
Renfroe.
Does the best hitter on a team bat?
2.
Why? Because you want him to get at bats.
Right.
So why would you? So you're going to put a lesser hitter in the most important spot in your lineup?
I said maybe move him from 2 to 3. I mean that's maybe 20 at bats the rest of the year. Now maybe those would be the most important at bats of all. And if Michael Massey,
I want those 20 at bats.
Okay. I'm not saying I'm demanding they do it right now. I think you just got to consider it because if it's just a breather for the pitcher for 2 innings at a time, then that's not good.
I think the idea, this is like the Chiefs aren't catching the ball. Patrick Mahomes has got to do more. No, they have to catch the football. That's what has to happen. And after the Raider game, the call started coming in that somehow Pat needed to do more. No. And Bobby does not, screwing around with Bobby Witt, no. Unacceptable. Your suggestion has been dispatched.
Fine. I'm grasping because I can't see a scenario where they're going to continue this level of offense if all these guys are going to have 550 or 600 OPS.
Well, I agree. The answer is those guys have to hit better or they have to get different. Those guys.
The only positive aspect is if you put. Because right now, generally the only guy who's going to be on base in front of him seems to be Garcia. If you move him down one spot, if you move him behind Vinny, maybe he has more. In general, he has more plate appearances where there's a guy on base in front of him, and if he gets hits, he can drive in more runs. That's the only thing I can possibly see.
I understand what he's saying.
I know, but I mean but you might be able to. But you might be able to
Mandarin, and I suddenly couldn't understand.
I realize
you have absolutely every right to say this is a bad idea.
It's terrible.
Because it is a bad. Now I wouldn't say it's a terrible idea because I think it delivers a little bit of length at the expense of an occasional at bat
for your best hitter.
Right, for a best hitter who now may come up with.
I will offer this only, that I have been screaming for 10 plus years for them to come out of the dark ages,
right,
on a lot of things, and one of them is batting your best hitter too,
right. Yeah.
And they haven't. They've watched Mike Trout win MVP after MVP hitting 2, and then they didn't do it. They had some slap ass dropping bunts.
Right. Well, I don't. That's
and I'm not about. And so I will offer that I am shell shocked, and there's some post traumatic. I'm not trying to make light of real PTSD, but in a baseball sense, right? That I just we finally got over that hump,
right?
To modern lineup construction,
right?
Maybe I'm shutting it down too quick. But now I've thought about it, and no, it's still done.
I'm just thinking maybe 10 more RBI over the course of the rest of the season is worth 15 bats.
But you still have somebody at the bottom who has to get on base, and now they're further away from them. They still have to get on because it's not going to be the 2. Whoever goes into 2 is on base every time.
The other part is that the bottom of the lineup is bereft, so he's. Unless because
your argument sucks, there's no reason to start trying to get fancy with the language.
Well, what I said is if you put one more good hitter in front of him, maybe you might get 10 or 20 fewer at bats, but the at bats he gets, he might have a higher likelihood of having guys on base.
I'm just
trying
to look for a solution to
20 at bats for
a problem that is a bad problem. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
The Royals have plenty of things that aren't bad problems right now, but the lineup is a problem, But, like I said, Hunter Renfroe should not hit 160. I mean, now Melendez, he's been this bad.
So wait a minute, we're back to the problem is the guys who aren't hitting have to hit.
Right, but maybe he won't. So you maybe have to go get somebody else. Maybe Hunter. They say, Hunter's wash.
That's not an option. It's not an option. All 9 guys are going to have to bat.
Right,
it's a fact. You don't get to go. We're just going to bat 5 and turn it back over to the top. That's not an option.
Exactly.
So
the reality is, if those guys
around with Bobby Wood Jr. is last on the list.
I think what we're realizing here is this is not a problem that can be solved in season.
Yeah. The reality, to your point, that is, if those guys don't start hitting better, it isn't going to matter where Bobby Witt is. They're not going to score runs.
I think
leave him at 2.
You can't throw it and catch it. It comes down to this. The wideout's got to catch Pat's balls. That didn't sound well, but okay. And the bottom of the lineup's got to get on base in front of Bobby.
Can't argue.
Yeah.
Cannot argue.
And
then let's take a break.
Okay, that sounds like a plan.
Take a break. Danny Klinkskills here.
I am not evangelical on this issue.
At Easton Roofing. Do you know Easton Roofing can write warranties on commercial flat roofs up to 30 years? Only a handful of companies across the country can say that. The most exclusive roofing companies, roofing manufacturers in the country. Elevate, Geico, JM, Carlisle. They always supply the best. They supply Easton Roofing. That's why they can write those 30-year warranties on commercial flat roofs. Find out for yourself. Go to eastonroofing.com.
More of Danny's Reasonably Irreverent podcast after this.
Did you experience hail damage last year and never got the work done? Most insurance companies only give you a year to get the roof fixed. And if you don't get it done, you could possibly not be compensated in full for the replacement of your roof. If you've been procrastinating getting that damaged roof taken care of, give us a call at 913-257-5426, and we'll send out an expert to help you through the process. We're never pushy, we're just here to help. Easton Roofing. Integrity matters.
All right, the Joe's Kansas City Barbecue Burns end of the hour answer as I find myself trapped in a 1980s video game.
It's Beck, isn't it?
That's cool.
Beck with Girl.
Yeah.
Who was the last number 1 overall draft pick in the NFL to play in the conference championship game as a rookie?
By the way, I find it funny that a guy who has come and gone and is now old and playing like I saw him open. No, I see him open for Willie Nelson, or Willie Nelson open for him a few years ago at Starlight for Beck is still too modern for Curtis to recognize.
I find it amazing that you chose to take a shot at me.
Danny got the whole last segment. What are you know?
I'm stunned.
Adam did great work today, so we land on
I wasn't
you.
here yesterday, so he's got some jokes saved up.
He's going
to hit them all.
We fired him anyway.
I heard. I was on the way.
Dan Marino.
Thought I was still asleep at 4:00 in the afternoon.
Last rookie 1-1.
Nope.
What was the question?
Last number 1. Yeah. It was last 1-1 to be in the conference championship game as a rookie
in NFL.
Yes.
And Dan Marino
he was not a 1-1. He was
not
1-1.
I'm guessing Tony Dorsett. He's the answer on a lot of those type of things.
Nope.
He was 1-1, and they went to the Super Bowl, didn't they?
Been one since him.
Oh, last one. Okay. 1-1 conference championship game. Hang on.
Look at this.
Keyshawn Johnson.
No.
Nope. Wasn't it Tampa? Wasn't it Tampa?
No, he was with the Jets his first year.
Oh, okay. I thought it was somehow Tampa first. Dumb.
He did play, I think, in an AFC title game with the Jets, though, didn't Bell?
Yeah,
Dorset,
but I don't think it was year 1, was it?
Dorset was the second.
Parcells.
He was number 2?
Ricky Belt was the number 1 pick that year.
Oh, God. Okay.
Oops. Oh, he was a good player.
I don't know.
Earl Campbell of Houston in 1978. In fact, he's the only one to do it in the
terrible on my part
common draft era.
And then his career was over 3 years later.
Yeah, he cranked out many carries his first 4 years, and then was like, I'm done.
Yeah, beat up, but incredible. Some incredible seasons. Earl Campbell. Danny, do you remember Earl Campbell?
No, I forget him.
I just didn't know. Won a Heisman.
Right.
Played for the Oilers. Do you remember, before the Houston Texans, they weren't always there. There was a team before them.
Yes.
It's actually the Tennessee Titans now. They were the Houston Oilers back in the day.
Oh, thank you.
Love you, blue.
I mean, the number 2 pick in the overall number 2 pick in the draft is the subject of this week's Kansas City Profiles presented by
in the
Easton
Earl
Roofing.
Campbell draft.
No. Art Still is.
Art Still was, number 2.
Okay.
DannyClinkskill.com.
Yes.
Brought to you by Easton Roofing, no less.
All your favorite podcast sites, yes.
Yeah, there you go. We just gave away Joe's Kansas City Barbecue, joeskc.com. You can order it right now. Pick it up on your way home. Get the weekend started right. Get some wonderful fries, best fries in the world, best barbecue in the world. It's Joe's Kansas City Barbecue, joeskc.com. 47th and Mission, 119th and String Line, and 117th and Road. Danny's here. Brought to you by Easton Roofing. So, Dan, yet another off-the-field distraction for the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Are they not focused? Is the front office not focused if they have this many guys that can't seem to keep things together, or just a little bit of a bad streak?
I think you just have to accept this as a Chiefs fan. If it makes you mad, it's going to make you mad. They don't care about this stuff. They don't. They succeed. They don't really like it. Andy Reid doesn't like it. You can tell he's uncomfortable, but he doesn't want to talk.
He doesn't like answering it.
No, he doesn't like answering anything, really.
We don't get to see much of Andy other than the few minutes he's here. So, the way people talk about him, I think he cares. I think that's maybe a little bit unfair. I think he cares.
I'm not so sure.
Let me ask you this.
Oh, no, he cares from the standpoint he would rather have nothing on his plate but calling plays and devising plays.
But I think he cares. Do you think? There's one of two ways. Like, I don't care if I have a-holes on my team; it's fine. Or you can say that guy's had problems, and we're going to try to straighten him out. There are two reasons to have guys that have questionable character on your team. One is you don't care. The other one is, hey, we've looked in. We think the guy can be saved. Do you think they're saving guys, or do you think they don't care?
I think they don't care. I think their track record shows they don't care.
Why? I'm just curious how you. Because I'm not saying you're wrong.
Because to me it hasn't worked succeeded at a high enough rate. Now they've had some home runs, to say the least, but I think they just feel like, hey, if the guy comes in here and we were wrong and he doesn't get any better and his attitude still sucks and he's still Kadarius Toney just like he was before, well, then he just leaves and we'll move on to the next person.
Kadarius Toney hasn't had legal problems.
No.
He's a distraction, but...
no, but that's the same. I mean, he was somebody who...
Does Harrison Butker go in the same category? Because he was a distraction. But he was voicing his own political opinions. His own philosophical opinions.
He had the right to say them if he wanted, I guess.
No, he definitely had the right to say them.
Right.
That's for sure, 100%.
100%.
He had the right to say them, absolutely.
He did.
But the question is, is it going to create a distraction for the football team?
It just doesn't seem like when the Chiefs have
I know football people don't think so, or Colin Kaepernick would have had a job, right? But they don't want to deal with social issues. They don't want protests, and they don't want all that. They've proven that by not signing. So I think we could all assume that that they don't want to deal with this. Like, if he's going to listen, he's probably could get $500,000 of speaking engagement right now. They're all buying his jersey. He could be the most popular speaking guy out there. Do you think they want him hitting the, hey, when we got those 5 weeks off, make sure you hit every speaking engagement you can and sing the praises because it's American. You can say whatever you want. Do you think that's what they want? I don't think so. But
it just doesn't seem like even in the immediate,
but to put him in that same category
in the immediate aftermath of whatever thing they've done before, it doesn't seem to have changed their outlook on what they do subsequent to that. I mean, Kareem Hunt, they cut bait with.
Well, and then they signed Frank Clark,
right, and didn't.
But and Frank Clark has not had another domestic issue since. But then they signed Charles Omenihu, who did and was suspended because of it.
Right, and they misread, I think, the suspension also. So, to me, there's just too much evidence. There's too much evidence. You can say what you want. They can pretend they don't care, or they care, but I just think that, it's this year, whatever, it's Charles Omenihu, who's going to be next. And they clearly, I guess, didn't do any research about the guy with his dogs. So and kept him around. Now, he may not even make the team. Let
me ask you a question. How would you, and I hate that. I don't want, and they have an issue. Let me be clear. When I'm going to ask this question, I'm not coming from a standpoint